What's up, everyone? Matt Parrino here for NewYorkUpstate.com. I'm here at Lucas Oil Stadium where the Buffalo Bills suffered another defeat, 37-5, a blowout against the Indianapolis Colts. Andrew Luck heading into the game, big storyline, the success that he's had this season, 16 touchdown passes heading into this game, only behind Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, and he added 4 more to his total today, and it was pretty easy work for Andrew Luck in this offense. They got the running game going. Heading into this game, the Indianapolis Colts were ranked 30th in the NFL in rushing. Marlon Mack had himself quite the day. 126 yards on 19 carries, a rushing touchdown, and then a receiving touchdown as well. Yeah, just here to react to this game and what's going on with the Buffalo Bills at 2-5. If you're a Bills fan, sitting at home and watching this and trying to figure out where the excitement should be for the rest of this season. We're now 7 games into the year. Really tough stretch to open the year. We talked about it all throughout the preseason. 5 of the first 7 on the road, and this one wraps up that really nasty early stretch. But it doesn't get any easier because you got 2 home games coming up here against the New England Patriots, obviously a division rival, and then the Chicago Bears, one of the tougher defenses in the league with Khalil Mack added to that group. Buffalo, the city of Buffalo, football fans very familiar with that name. But in terms of this game, it was, it was a story that we haven't been telling the last couple weeks. The Bills defense has been very successful in what they've been able to do against Tennessee, Marcus Mariota 2 weeks ago, and then last week against Deshaun Watson and the Texans, shutting them down. I mean, we're talking about less than 250 total yards of offense in those 2 games, very competitive games. The Bills beat the Titans and then had a chance to win last week against the Texans, if not for Nathan Peterman's late game struggles with 2 interceptions late in the game. But today it was the defense that struggled. I mean, like I mentioned, Marlon Mack, but they just couldn't get off the field. It was a good start, forced 2 3-and-outs to start the game, and then things started to unravel. But, this offense, continues to struggle. I mean, they go up 6-0. Adam Vinatieri misses the extra point, very un-Adam Vinatieri-like. And then the Bills are driving. Derek Anderson, his first start after coming in off the street. He was on vacation with his family a few months ago, and he comes in and drive down the field, making a few plays. Kelvin Benjamin gets involved in the offense today. Season high in receptions with 4 and yards with 71. And as they get into the red zone, Derek Anderson hits Charles Clay over the middle, and he drops the ball. It is ruled a fumble. Indianapolis recovers. They drive the length of the field, score a touchdown. It's 13-0 before you know it in the first quarter. And, you just can't go on the road and make those kind of mistakes. And, Lorenzo Alexander said something very interesting in the locker room after the game, talking about, the defensive struggles in this one. And he made it a point to say that, the way that the games have gone, the offense has had to change their strategy in game. You look at the game today. Chris Ivory had a nice day, finished with 81 yards. Marcus Murphy with 53 yards. We'll get to LaShawn McCoy in a few minutes. But after you go down 13-0 like that, if you're this defense, this 3rd-ranked NFL defense coming in here on the road, you have to do a better job of containing Andrew Luck in this offense. And from there, it was Derek Anderson having to throw the ball quite a bit. I mean, he only finished with 31 throws in the game, but you could tell that the goal was to push the ball down the field. They got behind early. They had to make up some ground, and it never really happened in this game. Kelvin Benjamin didn't want to talk in the locker room after the game. That's something that I wanted to mention as well. A really somber locker room, as you can expect, for the Buffalo Bills. It was he had headphones on. Kelvin Benjamin came back into the locker room after it looked like he kind of darted out before the press got in there, and he didn't want to talk about this. Zay Jones said it's a frustrating game. It's one where they feel like they kind of shot themselves in the foot. They made a lot of plays that impacted them on both sides of the ball, and it never got going. But in terms of the overall mindset of the Bills fan is something that I want to talk a little bit about here. And 2-5, the season barring some great miracle, is kind of over. What are you looking at now going into, the next few weeks here with Josh Allen's status uncertain, Derek Anderson now seemingly put in place as the starter? I think he played well at times today. Like I said, made a couple nice throws. I thought him and Kelvin Benjamin got going. They were working before the game, almost 2 hours before kickoff, trying to get in as many reps as they can, maybe just, get back on the same page. They play with each other in Carolina. And you saw that at times. And I think Derek Anderson's a veteran, 35 years old. He'll settle in, and that'll probably improve as time goes on. I have Linda who just commented, there's no words left to say, and I understand that. I mean, this has to be a very frustrating time to be a Bills fan. You look at how this whole situation was handled, and they went out and got Derek Anderson, and that might play out well for them in the coming weeks if he's able to get comfortable, get up to speed on the offense. But they had A.J. McCarron here, a guy that showed flashes. He's not a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback, but a guy that could have been that stopgap. They targeted him in free agency to bring him in here to kind of be that bridge between Tyrod Taylor and Josh Allen. And by all accounts, Josh Allen wasn't ready to play this season. I mean, you go back, and I just put up a story about how the Bills' quarterback situation is a mess right now, and it really is, and I think it's kind of been bungled. If you look at what, how Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane, there's a lot to like about what they've done here. I mean, this defense, the way that they've patched it together, bringing in some young players, Tre'Davious White, Matt Milano, who struggled today out in the open field. I feel like when Matt Milano struggles, it's with tackling. I mean, sometimes, I think it was the Baltimore game where he had a couple open field tackles that he missed. Tremaine Edmonds. Some nice young pieces that this staff and this, organization has brought in, along with some of the veterans, Kyle Williams, Lorenzo Alexander, Micah Hyde. They have a lot of pieces. The process is playing out. I think that, they got their quarterback. But Josh Allen, I don't think he was necessarily ready to play. You go back to that Cincinnati Bengals game, and it was a mess. I mean, he was running for his life, didn't look comfortable. And, aside from that Minnesota Vikings game where it's looking more like after, the full body of work that it was more of an aberration, he struggled, and he doesn't look comfortable. It looks like, this is something that, it's new to him, playing with NFL caliber players on both sides of the ball, who he's going up against in terms of NFL level defenses, and, the NFL players around him, and maybe some areas on this team in certain positions where there's a lack of talent. Yeah, Brian Cummings brings up a great point. I want to touch on this too. LaShawn McCoy was injured in this game, he's in the concussion protocol according to Sean McDermott. He's now going to, his status is unclear for next week and going ahead. The trade deadline is coming up. And you look at some of these guys like LaShawn McCoy, Kelvin Benjamin, guys that are, either high-priced, older, not producing. Charles Clay had a real costly turnover today, and you have to start thinking about, if you're Brandon Beane, do you pull the trigger on a couple of potential moves to maybe get yourself some more assets? I don't know what the market looks like out there for these players, but it's definitely a frustrating time. And Micah Hyde was asked in the locker room if he could kind of, as a leader of the team, as a a veteran, if he could kind of verbalize what he's feeling, what's going on in this locker room right now, and he says, we're frustrated. Simple as that. And everything can be cured next week if the Bills are somehow able to summon the effort and take out New England on national TV. I feel like that would be a nice feeling for the Bills Mafia, Bills Nation. But right now, from Indianapolis, Lucas Oil Stadium, it is a very somber day in Bills Nation, and we'll have you covered with a lot of post-game stuff over at NewYorkUpstate.com. Keep it logged on all week. We'll be back in Buffalo tomorrow, and Sean McDermott will speak at 4 p.m. And we'll go from there, heading into New England Patriots week. Guys, for all your coverage, like I said, keep it logged on NewYorkUpstate.com.